How are you, my fans, sneak peepers, and curious friends? I am difficult and demanding. If you want to know my real name, then hold still, and I might bring your wish to fruition. Before we begin, you can find this podcast show in iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Blueberry, Google Play Music, TuneIn, YouTube, and Stitcher. This is the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real, uncensored, and shooting straight between the eyes. The third eye, that is. I am going to hit you with explicit truth. This solo show is outrageously honest and keenly witty with a view into life. Yes, I said life. That's what we do every day when we wake up from sleeping. We are living life. Well, some of us at least. Let's get something straight. Really, really straight. I am truly, actually, habitually, and shamelessly difficult and demanding. And I completely own it. Now, I don't ask for much because I expect and receive it all. I firmly believe that if you expect shit, you will receive shit. What does that mean? Well, it means expect nothing but the best and don't settle for less. As always, I, your host, Tara, am keeping it real and uncensored. You're back for some more. I'm happy that you've stopped resisting. Why question what makes you feel good and alive? I am one of those marvels you can't rationalize and you can barely comprehend. So just go with the flow, my flow, because it is time for you to dive into episode 68 of the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast. Acceptance. What would you do for it? Huh? None of us wants to endure rejection, yet it's an everyday part of life. What if you found acceptance in a secret taboo lifestyle? Would you run from it or would you embrace it? You must know thyself. You got to know yourself. Otherwise, you may find yourself knocking on a door that will leave you so fulfilled, so gratified, along with bite marks and bruises to confirm your new reality. Before I begin, I am going to do a call out. What's a call out? Well, it's not a shout out. I am calling out you motherfucking lurkers. If you have entered my world, then be honest with yourself about it. You want to be here, and you know I want you here, so follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Finally, climb aboard and enjoy the entire show, because I am giving you plenty of ridiculous honesty. Once the podcast episode ends, I am keeping it going on my Instagram page at Difficult and Demanding and on my Twitter page at Mrs. D and D. All right, everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful week and welcome back. As usual, I have something off the wall to discuss. And today, what I'm focusing on is something that I read, and it's called I Wanted to Be Dominated, but Not Quite Like That. Yes, I wanted to be dominated, but not quite like that. There was a woman who has continuously been stung by romantic rejection. And she found acceptance and catharsis within a man who leaves her with bite marks and bruises. Yeah, is that off the wall for you? Yeah, it should be a little intriguing. It should scare the fuck out of some of you, most of you, maybe one or two of you, I don't know. But she has been rejected. And you're probably thinking, well, shit, if she likes someone who leaves bite marks and bruises, you can understand why she's been rejected. Don't be so narrow-minded. Don't be so judgmental. Open up. You may learn some shit. You may learn something about you. Who the fuck knows? Who the hell cares? You may meet someone who has these interests. You don't know what life is going to bring across your path. You don't know. You could wake up tomorrow and your mate, your partner can come to you and say, look, bite me, bruise me. Then what are you going to do? So don't be so quick to judge another. Don't do that. Try to be open-minded. By listening to something that you're not used to, by experiencing something that you're not used to, it does not make that who you are, unless that's who the fuck you are. But let's just assume you're innocent, you're nice and neat, and all is well and wonderful. You can still listen for amusement. You can listen for entertainment. But she found acceptance and catharsis within a man who left her with bite marks and bruises. Now, they went out for a couple of dates. And on the third date, he asked her if he could mark her foray into BDSM by biting her. Yes, he wanted to initiate her into BDSM. He wanted to be the one to initiate her because he's popping her cherry. By the time he's done with her, she will no longer be a BDSM virgin. And he wanted to mark her for life. He wanted to be the one to put his signature, his bite mark signature on her ass to let it be known, to let it be shown that she's already been touched and goddamn tapped. So when he asked her, she said yes. She said yes. She really didn't think this motherfucker was going to bite her. She thought he was trying to entice her, to allure her, to be mysterious. But he actually did bite her. He did it. And after he finished unclenching his jaw, he kissed her on the cheek and said goodnight. And then he was gone. Yeah, so a motherfucker bites you, leaves motherfucking teeth marks, blood, torn skin and all. He hurts you with pain. And then he kisses you on the cheek with pleasure. Pain and pleasure. Do you like pain and pleasure? Have you ever experienced it? You don't understand it, do you? How someone would want pain and pleasure at the same time. Well, if you don't know, pain and pleasure both release endorphins, adrenaline. It gives you a rush. One hurts you. One soothes you. One brings you up. The other one brings you even higher. Yeah, it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. And everyone has their level, their threshold of what they're willing to accept and tolerate. But this son of a bitch bit her, kissed her, and said goodnight to her ass and left her. And all she can remember is he clenched and unclenched his jaws on me. And I have his fucking teeth marks to prove it. And she ended up being very drunk with endorphins. Because she was shocked. She was shook. He actually did this shit. It was scary and intriguing at the same damn time. It was mysterious. She couldn't understand because she never knew anyone who could do some shit like that, who would do some shit like that, and let alone do it to her. So she's running her fingers across those teeth marks. She's running her fingertips along the holes, the punctures in her skin where he bit her. And it hurts like hell. But for some reason, it's drawing her in. It's luring her in. And she feels alive because of it. Her mundane, mediocre life has been awakened simply by someone biting the fuck out of her. We all get off in different ways, don't we? We do. So she felt the tiny grooves on her shoulder that he left. And then later she realized that he bit her in a location that will cause her to think of him all the time. He bit her on her shoulder where she carries her purse. He bit her in the location in which her purse handle falls, which applies discomfort, even more pleasure. So even after the initial pain and pleasure, he's still with her, even though he's not. She still has him with her, even though she's not. Do you know how possessive that feels, how magnetic that feels, how dominated you feel by that shit? You've got a motherfucker who's left his presence, his aura with you, and he's not even with you. You can't escape the discomfort. You can't escape the pain. You can't escape the memories. You can't stop replaying that shit over and over and over in your head. You hit rewind, play, rewind, play, rewind, play. Even when you don't want to remember, you can't help but to remember because that shit hurts like hell. And then you have to nurse it. You have to heal it. You see the scabbing, the healing, the bruising. So until he's with you again, this motherfucker is still with you. It's intoxicating. Now, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. But what I'm saying to you is this. That shit is captivating as hell. It had her hooked and shook. All from his goddamn teeth marks. At a time, in a location. And she never expected any of that shit. Constant pain. Memories of pleasure. Constant physical pain. And memories of physical pleasure. So even before he has a chance to get back to her, she's already being stoked and poked. She's being aroused. His mystery and intrigue, his pain and his pleasure, his bite and his kiss is meant to linger with her until he's with her again. All the while getting her slowly but surely aroused until the next time they meet again. He wanted her not to forget him. Can you imagine how hard he bit her? So then she started to think, what the hell am I getting myself into? What is this? Do I want this? Do I need this? Can I endure this? Can I handle this? Is this good for me? Is this not good for me? But why do I crave it? Why do I yearn for it? Why am I intrigued? Why am I snooping? Why am I peeping? Why am I walking in a direction? What am I doing? No one does this. Yet, I think I do. Yet, I think I don't. But I'm being pulled. And I want to know more. I want to experience more. So after he left her with that initial bite, he sent her a text later asking if she was okay. She stared at the phone. She stared at the message and thought, now was the time to back out if I was going to back out. And she was right and very smart. That was the point of no return. He gave her a taste, a window, a cracked door to what was to come. So what would she do? What does she want to do? What would you say? What would you do? Or you're trying to figure out who would indulge. What type of person would indulge with this? You can have some of the quote unquote most normal, basic people that you think and indulge in shit like this. I'm asking you, would you do it? Could you do it? Are you curious? Are you repulsed and disgusted? Are you aroused? What feelings does it invoke in you? Don't run, don't hide. Answer the goddamn question. It's too much, it's overwhelming. It's only too much and overwhelming because you're in denial. I'm asking you, would you do it? Could you do it? Do you want it? Do you need it? Does it disgust you? Does it repulse you? And even then, do you still want it and need it? Going down this path that's deep, dark, some may say demented. It may add some spice to your ordinary, mediocre life. Would you explore it? Something for you to think about. So she replied back and she said, see you in 2 weeks. Yep. She decided that she wanted to go forward with this. Whatever this is, whatever it's going to be, she wanted to go down this path and experience it. So, how did she get to this point where she responded, see you in 2 weeks? She met this man on OkCupid. He hit her up, said, I like you, I want you, whatever. I don't know what people do nowadays. Swipe left, right, up, down, whatever. Like you, don't like you, whatever. He hit her up on OkCupid. And his profile said he respects women while simultaneously dominating them. Some nice word trickery, huh? I respect you, but I'm gonna bite the fuck out of you. It's asinine and it's hardcore at the same goddamn time. I respect you. I respect women, but I'm gonna gnaw your motherfucking ass to the bone. I'm gonna make you screech, cry, in pain, but I respect you. Now let me eat your ass. Yes, I'm making fun of it, but you have to find humor in life. So he's letting you know, I'm going to bring you pain, but I respect you. So do you want to play with me? So when she read that, she thought it was some form of him being a 50 Shades of Grey opportunist. She was appalled by his profile. But guess what? She kept reading his profile. She kept reading the shit. She's disgusted and appalled. She's threatened and uncomfortable. Yet she can't help but to knock on his goddamn door to see what else do you got. Are you really what you say? Are you really what you seem? She had to see because she couldn't believe it. How can someone be so upfront and open about what they are, who they are? People who are into BDSM, they like to hide that shit. They don't want anyone to know. They don't want to be judged. But here you have someone saying, look, I respect you. I'm going to bite you. I'm going to bite the fuck out of you. But I respect you. He had no shame in his goddamn game. He was 50 shades, 100 shades, 1,000 shades of gray. And he put that shit on blast on his profile. I say that's some bold shit. That's some boss shit. That's some audacious shit. You got to respect it. You got to respect a motherfucker. Say, look, this is what it is. This is what I am. This is what the fuck I want to do. I want to do it with you. So are you coming or not? What do you want to do? He's not pussyfooting. He's not beating around the bush. He's not having you read between the lines. I respect you, but I'm going to bite the fuck out of you. What do you want to do? That alone intrigued the fuck out of her. What type of man, what type of person had that level of confidence and comfort and being what they are? What type of person embraces that dark, deep, maybe demented, maybe not part of their personality and doesn't give a fuck about what anyone else thinks? And then this person, this audacious person, hit her up, wanted to initiate her, wanted to do these things with her. So she was appalled, intrigued, and she also felt special. A woman who has been rejected and dejected by romance felt special, felt seen by someone. Now, ideally, Did she want it to be with someone who does BDSM? No, she wanted to be with a quote unquote normal, everyday, basic motherfucker. But that didn't work out for her. It didn't work out for her at all. So here comes someone around the corner who's into some kink, some fetish shit, and has found her, reached out to her, and wants to bring some fucking life to her life. So she was appalled. And she felt so fucking special. How can you turn away from that? Have any of you been rejected, pissed on, rejected, pissed on? And you wonder what it is? What is it? Is it me? What is it? What's going on? And then all of a sudden you have someone who contacts you, who sees you, who wants to experience you. That alone draws you in. That alone makes you curious. That alone makes you not be able to say no. Hell no, I don't think so. Because that's how lonely and deprived she felt or you feel. It will have you thinking, pondering, doing some shit that you never thought you would do in the wildest years because of the state of your deprivation, the state of sacrificing and compromising in your life. It will have you going down avenues, knocking on doors, doing shit that you never thought you would do before. All because you want to feel like you matter. You want to feel like you exist. And you want to feel life, whether it be through pain or goddamn pleasure or a combination of both. A combination of both. She kept reading his profile. What it said? Favorite things. Sending you to work with marks. How creative. What kind of marks? Is it going to be an impression from a fucking diamond necklace? What kind of marks? Even his language is open to interpretation. It seems innocent, yet you know it's guilty. It makes you curious. You know what they say, curiosity killed the cat? Well, curiosity will get your motherfucking ass bitten to the bone. The wordplay in itself is intriguing. It's magnetic. I want you to go to work with marks. Do you know why he wants her to go to work with marks? Because at work, you're supposed to be pure. Straight lines, straight and narrow path. You're good. You're normal. Whatever the fuck that means. You just fit in where you fucking get in. That's what it means to be at work. And then while you're at work, underneath you, you've been tattered and torn. You've been brought to the greatest point of pain, followed by pure ecstasy and pleasure. You're sitting there in your meetings and it hurts. But you know why it hurts? Because after he hurt you, he fucked you like he was a wild fucking animal. And those thoughts can't help but keep going through your brain. It's like a continuous feeding loop. You're sitting there with your suit on, and underneath you are a fetish, kink, deprived, happy, goddamn motherfucking person. But in front of everyone else, no one knows. It's like your dirty little secret. You're nice and you're naughty. It's a thrill to know I'm sitting here and these people don't know that I've been bitten and fucked at the same goddamn time. I've been pleased and brought to pain. It's off, but it's very on. It's very on. Woman thinks she's off in the head, but you both know there's something about that. Being more than what you seem. Not being really what people want you to be. You're showing them what the fuck they want to see, but when the lights go out and the door goddamn closes, you transform into someone else. You become something else where you feel liberated. You feel free. You feel alive. We all want to feel alive, don't we? So he likes sending women to work with bite marks, with marks. He didn't even say bite marks. He said with marks. And he said he loves the fragrance of your hair lingering on his hands. Can you figure that shit out? He said he enjoys the fragrance of a woman's hair, that's lingering on his hands. Do you understand what he's saying to you? He's saying he is going to yank and pull the fuck out of your hair and hold that shit like it's for dear life. And he's going to have that shit so clenched in his hands. By the time he's done with you, his hands are going to smell like your goddamn hair. You're going to be yanked, pulled, fucking bitten, and dragged by this son of a bitch. And no, he's not attacking you. This is foreplay for this son of a bitch. It's foreplay. So he's written in a way where you feel like, okay, the fragrance of my hair is going to be on his hand. It sounds so romantic. It sounds so loving. It seems that way. But you know there's something primal and animalistic behind that shit. It requires a lot of grabbing and holding for someone's scent, the scent of your hair, to linger on someone's hands. So you start thinking, shit, what kind of sex is this? What is this? I haven't had this before. I got to try it. Should I try it? Should I not try it? Will it hurt too much or will it hurt enough? Can I do it or can I not? It's called mind fucking. He's mind fucking you in advance. He is prepping and priming you before he's even met you, talked to you. He's opened Pandora's box. He's opened the door, opened the can of worms, because the longer and longer you read his profile, the more he sets you up to get your ass. You need to understand when someone is angling for you. His profile will not captivate everyone. It will only captivate the right ones. The right ones. And that's exactly what he was doing. He was captivating the right ones. So, after she read his favorite things, she slammed her laptop shut. Yeah, she was mystified, mortified, and she closed her goddamn laptop. But here's the thing. She was turned on like hell. She was lit, primed, ready to go. What kind of person can own, can consume, can dominate her like that and be bold and confident, have no shame? That shit turned her the fuck on beyond her wildest imagination. She never imagined that this could impact her, bring her to life like this. But she couldn't find the strength initially to message him back. Because this was kink. She didn't do kink. She didn't know kink. Kink was for HBO shit only. That's what happened in her mind. But yet kink was knocking on her door. Kink was knocking on her door and she was looking through the goddamn peephole and had her hand on the doorknob and getting ready to open that motherfucker to say, hello, come in. So what do when you really want to do something and you're scared? You start rationalizing, justifying, concocting some shit to give you the courage or the fortitude to do what you really want to do, but you're scared of the fact that you want to do it. She started convincing herself. So she could actually message him back. She kept telling herself, she's an adult. She can do this if she wants to. She's an adult. So what did she do? Well, she replied and told him, I'm intrigued. And she hit the send button on that shit. And then she ran the fuck out of the room screaming because she could not grasp what the hell that she set in motion. She didn't see this on her life radar, engaging with someone who's in kink and BDSM, but yet she found herself there, and yet she is reciprocating, showing her interest in this. So eventually, they met. 1 week later, after many texts and emails, they met. And he was very handsome. He told her he had been a dominant for years. Yes, I said dominant, which means he runs your ass like a fucking bitch. He's been a dominant one for years. He also told her that he lives with his girlfriend and they are in a open relationship. So you see, this guy doesn't fuck around. And when you have a lifestyle with this, you need to be upfront because you don't want to end up in goddamn jail. So it's better to say, look, this was on my profile. This is what they read. This is what it is. And these people choose to contact me. I didn't go kidnap them and do all this stuff. These women are coming to me because they want it. So everything he's doing it for a reason. Even his life, everything is set up to support who he is, which is a dominant. And if you don't know what a dominant person does, they dominate you. They make you submit. They make you surrender. They bring you to a level of submission where you may do things that you never thought you did, because the feeling of surrendering is so unbelievable to you. You love it. When a person surrenders, it makes them feel free. It makes them feel light. They don't have to worry. They don't have to wonder. They don't have to do. All they have to do is do what the fuck they're told. And for some people, that feels good. They want to be able to let go. Not everyone can let go. Some people are meant to boss the fuck up, to hold on, to do, to tell you what to do. And then there's some people who are meant to just surrender, to be and do what you ask blindly. It's pleasurable for both. And for those of you who are not into this shit, yeah, it makes sense and understand. But you have to understand, it is gratifying to the people who are involved. And that is why they keep doing it. Not everyone can let go and surrender. It takes a level of trust, of deep trust, blind trust, and loyalty to have a dominant and submissive type of relationship. You have to trust one another. You have to trust that the dominant one won't do too much. They won't hurt you. They still respect you and understand that you have limits. And to be dominant, you have to have a level of control and selflessness to be able to be dominant. You can't be dominant and be selfish. No, because someone will get hurt. The one who is surrendering to you will get hurt. So to be dominant, you are in control. You call the shots. But that role is very selfless. And it's also a very loving role because you are giving to the one who is submitting. And the one who's submitting, they're trusting that you will make sure that they're fine. You will make sure they're okay. You will make sure that they feel respected and their boundaries are protected. It's a very complicated relationship, and it's not for everyone. And for some, what constitutes domination can be something that's off the charts, and what constitutes submission and surrendering can be off the charts. But it works for people. It works. So they came to a discussion, and the guy said that, yes, I live with someone. I'm in an open relationship. And he said, my open relationship with my living girlfriend has rules. I cannot do unprotected sex. I cannot do sleepovers, and I cannot kiss you. So if you are game with all of these factors, you let me know. So for this woman, she was floored because she's never met a man who can communicate his needs so confidently. Do you know how attractive that could be? There's so many fucking wishy-washy people who don't know what the fuck they want from one minute to the next, from the left or to right. But to have someone who's steadfast and confident and say, this is what I need. This is what it is. What do you want to do? If you want to play with me, we can do this shit. If you can't respect my boundaries, then I suggest you move on. So that roped her even more. First of all, he's handsome. Second of all, he's confident. He knows what the fuck he wants. She's like, game on. So then she asked, where would they meet? And he told her, at your place before work at 6 a.m. She's thinking, what the fuck? Wait a minute. At my place before work at 6 a.m. That means you want me to wake up even earlier to get fucking beaten and bitten? That was another shock all treatment for her. She couldn't believe, like, okay, did he just say he wants to do this to me before I go to work? He wants me to start my day with this kink and then go through the rest of my day, withstand the rest of my day after this experience. Now that's some sordid shit, because you already know he just bit the fuck out of her, and that was painful. So now he wants to get to her before she starts her day. She's going to be limping and in pain, but she can't limp. She can't be in pain. She has to act normal, because if she doesn't, people are going to question. So that's another part of his allure and his intrigue, where I'm going to do some shit to you that's going to make it hurt, and it's going to be uncomfortable. And then you're going to have to go through work and withstand this pain. Do you see how he's conditioning her? He's conditioning her to live a double alternative life. She still has to put on the facade, the face of being this normal, everyday person going to work. But deep down, it hurts. It's uncomfortable. She needs to heal. And it's going to be pretty damn hard for her to focus while she's at work. But she has to go to work. And she also has to endure what the fuck he did to her. But then all that pain and discomfort, it ends in her and him fucking the hell out of her and bringing her to extreme ecstasy. So she gets to replay those thoughts in her mind where I'm hurting, but this pain was not in vain. This pain allowed me to receive the best fucking sex I've ever had in my goddamn life. He's hooking her. He's like a goddamn drug for her. And it's very methodical. It's highly calculated. So she was not a morning person, and she did not like the idea of being seen naked in the light of day. But she liked being near him. There was something that felt so safe, so secure. She needed to be near him. She was a fucked up person who's made fucked up choices, who's been rejected countless times. And here is someone who is clear, firm, and steadfast in his needs, wants, expectations. And she found great security in that. Because up until that point, everything has been chaos, unpredictability. She's been ghosted several times. So naturally she feels insecure. But this man came like fucking marble, like a rock. And she needed and wanted that in her life. He said, you need to tell me everything about you. I want to know all of your baggage, any triggers. He told her to keep a journal and send it to him. He said he has to know what might come up. You don't understand what I'm talking about, do you? When you're getting your ass bitten, beaten, slapped, dragged, yanked, and pulled, that can trigger your traumas. And it can cause some unwarranted, unexpected turmoil to happen. So if you're going to be a dominant one, there's a level of selflessness, of responsibility that comes with that role. And it's something that you need to take very seriously. Because you don't know if this person has been physically, emotionally, mentally abused in their childhood. So if they have and you don't know and you do some shit, you could trigger someone having a meltdown or going off the fucking deep end. So you have to exercise the utmost caution and care. So when he asked her for all this, it kind of made her feel even more special. Because up until that point, any and everyone she told her business to about her issues, how fucked up she is, most of them ghosted her. Most of them ran away. But this guy, he wasn't running away. He was telling me, tell me and tell me more. Tell me and tell me more. Because the more you tell me, the better I'm going to make this experience for me. And the better it is for me, the better you're going to feel in the end. He wanted all her demons, all her skeletons out of the closet. He wanted them all. Because he has to minimize and mitigate any motherfucking thing that's going to happen. He doesn't want to be called, accused of some shit that's not true because he's triggered some issues. So he's covering his tracks. He's also making sure her well-being stays to the utmost level. So after their third date, they agreed on a set of rules and boundaries. She shared everything with him that she was usually afraid to tell a new partner. She shared every motherfucking thing with him. And that was cathartic for her because up until that point, no one wanted to know. They act like they did, but when she told them, they ran the fuck away. So here was someone saying, I want to know it all. Tell me more. I want to know it all. And he did not run, and he did not hide. And that is exactly what she needed in her life. Someone who could see her, accept her, and still want to bring her pleasure. Even though she has to go through a fucking dungeon of pain, the end goal is pleasure. What y'all think about that? So you're thinking, why would anyone, even to this point, want to go through this? Because what she's been through life, and what she's been through in life, and what she's going through right now, she liked and needed his calm, controlling aura. It brought balance and stability to her. Now, the price of that, if you want to consider it a price, was extreme pain with extreme pleasure. So even though you can't understand what the hell's going on, you have to know that people do shit for a reason. They do things because it fulfills a purpose for them in their life. So she's walking down this path, unbeknownst to her, because it's going to end up making her stronger and healing her over the long run. But this is her journey, and this is what she has to go through. So his calm, controlling aura fed her. And she noticed that rather than him fleeing from her emotional baggage, he welcomed it without fear or judgment. When a person is always being judged, ghosted, minimalized, marginalized, when someone actually accepts you, does not judge you, and says, tell me more, bring me more, do you know what that does to a person? It's an unbelievable feeling. It's something that she's been searching for so long. And she got it. She got it through BDSM, but different strokes for different folks. The fact is, we're all trying to get to the same place. We just have a different journey to get there. So eventually, over time went by, they continued. An old fling of hers came to town. And the dominant guy, the one that she's been seeing, told her to be very careful. I do not like to share. And she was puzzled. Like, what do you mean, be careful? I don't like to share. She assumed that since they weren't in a romantic relationship, he wouldn't give a fuck. But that's not how dominant ones work, do they? No, they want complete, full possession. There's no partial possession. No. You're theirs. Fully, completely, totally. And dominant ones, they're very intelligent. They find different ways to assert their power, their authority. They find different ways to put their feet, their imprint into your life. They find ways to grab the reins on you and let it be known and let it be shown. Your ass is theirs. Dominant ones have their own approach and own way to show who the fuck is running the show. They do. So you better know and believe and understand that not all dominant ones are going to come out and say, look, this is what I want to do. Do you agree? Do you agree? Okay, let me dominate you. No, it doesn't work like that. Some don't like to talk at all. They just do. They assert their influence in these subtle but bold, audacious ways. But either way, you let it know. You let it be known and shown that they run this shit and they're running you. But the benefit is you get to be under their canopy. You play your role, they play their role. So she found out he did care. He did care. He told her, you can go on dates, that's fine. But I don't want you sleeping with other men. He told her if that's a problem, then we would have to reassess. Yes, this motherfucker saying your ass is mine. You can go on dates with everyone else because I can't give you that. But when it comes to sleeping with someone else, nope, I don't think so. It's not going to happen. I own you. I possess you. It is mine. Also, if someone else sees the bite and bruise marks, they may not understand and they may report what this man is doing and he can get into some type of legal and criminal trouble. So he's also protecting himself by saying, if you want to sleep with other people, we can't see each other. Very complicated, very intelligent. Takes a lot of foresight to figure this out. But she didn't know what to do, and she had to think long and hard about what she needed, what she wanted. She realized that she missed being kissed, and she missed the warmth of another body. You have to keep in mind, when they did this, he said, I can't kiss you. There's no unprotected sex. I am not sleeping over. This is all that there is. This is all that there ever will be. And now he's restricting her from being intimate, or he's trying to restrict her from being intimate with someone else. So a smart woman, what she is saying, okay, this is not what I thought. This is beyond my boundaries. I need more than this. You can't give it to me. So I need to find the strength and the clarity to figure out what I want to do. So after she thought about it, she came to the same conclusion, that that relationship would never be enough. So she worked up the courage and told him that she needed more, a lot more from this relationship that he can offer. And he wasn't surprised. He knows this. He understands this. So like I said, the respect, the trust and appreciation is there. It has to be for these type of relationships. Otherwise, it's considered abuse. So this is not the first time he's heard this, encounters before. He knows this. But you have to realize her strength. She had the strength to realize, I need more, I want more. This has been fun. I like it, but I need more in my life. And she told him that. So you may not understand or know this, but she learned a lot about herself from this relationship. She learned what fulfilled her. She learned that she is not a dominant one. She is a submissive one. And she's grateful to him for that. Very grateful. Some of us like to think that this BDSM stuff is not right, is wrong. No, everything we do as humans, it serves a purpose. It serves a need. So when she told him she needed more, he said, if you change your mind, you know where to find me. But she knew it was over. She knew it was over. So what did she do? She went to OkCupid, which is how all this started. And she created a new profile. And this new profile said that she is looking for a monogamous, long-term partner whose natural, dominant qualities complements her submissiveness. Is it weird for you to hear someone that they willingly submit? And they're okay with that? Why does submission make people feel uncomfortable? Let me start there. You think it makes you weak? Why does it make you weak? It doesn't seem right? Tell me, why is it wrong? If surrendering makes someone feel calm, peaceful, happy, safe, and secure, why do you care? The real question I asked you is, why does surrendering make you weak? Weak and surrendering are two different things. To be able to surrender, that is a powerful, courageous thing to do. It's not easy to let go of the reins. It's not easy to trust someone else. It's not easy to do that. It takes a lot of backbone and some intelligence to do that shit. How does that become weak? That's not weak. It's very intelligent. You can't assume that being weak and submissive and surrendering are the same things. They are very different. You can't have two fucking kings. There can only be one king and there can only be one queen. So the same thing happens when it comes to domination and submission. You have to know your role, play your role, honor your role, and do that shit well. That's the only way this stuff works. But BDSM, yes, it ends in sex. BDSM is a form of foreplay. Some of you may say it's extreme, whatever. But it is foreplay for a large group of people. And it helps bring more passion and desire in the bedroom. Some of you people are role playing. You're doing domination and submission. It may not be to the extreme extent of this, But you're role playing out in your relationship in the bedroom and out of the bedroom one way or another. So before you go around casting judgment about a motherfucker being weak because they want to submit, or someone who's being dominant has some type of issues and control, we all have some fucking type of issues. We all have baggage. We all have baggage. But knowing that you like to submit and you want to be submissive, I say that is a wonderful thing to know about yourself. It can help you weave through a lot of unnecessary relationships, heartache, strife, disappointment, and pain. It is more complex and fulfilling than it seems, BDSM. It requires a level of patience and confidence that you may not have already, but by the time you're done, you will get. You will get a better understanding of yourself. You will see what you're made and capable of. You may decide none of this shit is for you, and that's okay too. Knowledge is power. Power is knowledge. It goes hand in hand. It will always go hand in hand. So the next time you want to go around judging people who have kinks and fetishes, no. Some of you have poor eating choices. Some of you make other decisions that are not on the up and up. That's not wrong, or that's wrong and not right. Don't judge. Try it, then have an opinion. If you can't try it, then I suggest you don't have an opinion because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Know yourself, understand yourself, embrace yourself, and live your best life according to yourself. So if you have any questions, you guys know how to find me. But don't shy away from something because it seems dirty, taboo, forbidden. There's always something meaningful behind it. And you just got to know where to look and how to understand it. You have to also know and understand for yourself, why does BDSM and kinks, why does that intimidate you? Why does that make you uncomfortable? You can't get contaminated with this shit unless you try it. And even then, it's not a contamination. It's a preference. It's a lifestyle. Change the way you see shit, and it will change how you feel the shit. Don't be threatened. And if you can't stand the shit that damn much, good news. It has nothing to do with you. You're just doing some curiosity, some research, so you can basically get the affirmation or the confirmation that this shit is not for you. But for others who are participating in this, you don't know them. You don't know why, what purpose it serves for them. So refrain from judging. Try to understand and appreciate. Try that. It'll make things a lot better for you. So find me. Come listen to me again. Until the next time. Have a great week, you guys. Are you disappointed this has come to an end? Well, it doesn't have to. Reach out and let me know what you think about this episode and my podcast. You can try and slide into my DM, but I will kick your ass out. So I suggest you hop into my DM on Instagram at Difficult and Demanding, or Twitter at Mrs. D&D, or leave a comment on one of my posts. I get the feeling you have a blank look on your face. Why is that? You know I aim to poke, stoke, and please. So just surrender to the fact that you've been consumed by difficult and demanding. Make it easy on yourself. It's best not to fight your urges and yearnings for me. So I expect you to join me for my next escapade. Episode 69 is here on March 15, 2019 from the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast.